The CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, just said Bitcoin will go to zero. Let's get right into it.
What we're talking about, we pretty much always have some crypto conversation with you. I'm just curious because I don't think we've talked to you since.
I think all that's been a waste of time, and why you guys waste any breath on it is totally beyond me.
Because you just think the whole thing just is
going to zero?
Going to zero and it's fake?
Bitcoin itself is a hyped up fraud. It's a pet rock.
You're back to that?
Yeah,
really?
Of course, yeah.
So what do you make then of BlackRock and other firms that are investing in infrastructure?
No, that's different. Blockchain is a technology ledger system that we use to move information. We've used it to do overnight repo, intraday repo. We've used it to move money.
Right.
So that is a ledger. That's a technology ledger type of thing that we think will be deployable. Remember, we've been talking about that for 12 years too, and very little's been done.
There's some tokens that I agree with you on, but Bitcoin's based on a distributed ledger.
Yeah,
it has all the characteristics of a store of value. It's immutable. It's scarce.
Totally untrue. It's
21 million.
Oh yeah, really? How do you know it's going to stop at 21 million?
Because
I've mentioned this to people.
Satoshi.
Everyone says that. Well, maybe it's going to get to 21 million, and then Satoshi's picture is going to come up and laugh at you all and say, no.
There isn't a picture.
And by then, Satoshi will take it out billions of dollars.
What was your reaction to the failure of FTX and all of that? You've seen lots of failures over the years of different things that have happened on Wall Street and the world of finance.
I'm not surprised at all.
And
I called it a decentralized Ponzi scheme. The hype around this thing has been extraordinary.
The underlying asset.
But you have a lot of clients who are involved.
You guys you've all seen the analysis on Tether and the analysis on all these things and the lack of disclosures, and it's outrageous. The regulators should have stopped this a long time ago. People have lost billions of dollars. Some are, if you look at it as lower income people, in some cases.
Jamie, there's a difference between saying FTX is a decentralized Ponzi scheme and saying that crypto itself is a Ponzi scheme. That's like, Madoff created options.
Crypto itself that doesn't do anything is a pet rock. You're happy to
Bitcoin.
You can own it all you want.
I'm just talking. There's a lot. It's billions of dollars.
I don't care about Bitcoin, so we should drop the subject.
And there you all have it. That is Jamie Dimon completely trashing Bitcoin, saying it's going to zero, calling crypto as a whole as a Ponzi scheme. And yeah, guys, this is coming from the guy who had connections to the guy with the island, and he was involved with the JP Morgan was involved with the whole what is it called? Bernie Madoff. Yeah, the JP Morgan was connected to Bernie Madoff. Fucked up right there. But yeah, not saying he did, but JP Morgan had connections to the dude with the island and Bernie Madoff. And second of all, why real talk, this is completely off topic, but why the hell are they outside? Like, y'all bundled up in the fucking cold and shit. Like, why are they outside? That is some white people shit. Just fucking cold as shit, all bundled up. Like, there's no way you actually want to be there. But anyways, to our first story of the day, or second story of the day, take a look at this. The SEC charges Sam Bankman-Fried with defrauding FTX investors. Clown world. Do I even need to explain why this is clown world? Bruh, the SEC ain't saving nobody. They literally were working with Sam Bankman-Fried. Fucking Gary Gensler, head of the SEC, was basically friends with Sam Bankman-Fried. And now they're charging him. Thanks for trying to save us. I know, not to hype up my own reply with 38 likes, but this is basically it. This is just in time to save everyone. Let's go. And the fucking Wojak looking bummed out, because that's basically everyone's reaction. It's like, what the hell? If you wanted to protect investors, you would have protected us back way back in 2022, early 2022, because the SEC, conspiracy theory, but they probably knew FTX was going to come down. They were working very closely with them. So yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. And then take a look at this. The U.S. national debt reaches an all-time high of $31.41 trillion. And yes, guys, as it says here, this is happening all the time, and they have raised since 1917. They have raised the debt limit by 100 times. So they're going to continue to just raise it up, and this headline is going to continue to happen for a very long time, as long as the U.S. is a global powerhouse and holds a position as the dollar is a king. So, classic Ponzi-nomics. Anyways, take a look at this. Crypto.com says global crypto holders increased by 39% to 425 million in 2022. Pretty cool stat showing that crypto is still growing despite the bear market. And then take a look at this right here. Jamie Dimon, once again, billionaire Jamie Dimon says interest rates will rise above 5%, citing lots of underlying inflation. Now, there is a lot of underlying inflation. He's not wrong there, but interest rates over 5%. Whew. Man, I don't know. This is getting things are getting interesting. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a prediction from a guy. And to our next story, take a look at this. European Central Bank member says they will not stop at one single 50 basis point hike. That's for sure. And this is extremely interesting because we know Europe's under a ton of pressure right now, and a lot of these countries are very fragile. Their economies are very fragile, and I'm not really sure if they can handle this. So it's going to be interesting what plays out there. And then take a look at this to our last story of the day. Some news from Davos. If you know, the World Economic Forum held their annual, meeting in Davos, and there's a lot of stuff. So take a look at this headline. Big headline. Davos 2023, UAE and India discussing settling non-oil trade in rupees. So let's read the whole thing. The UAE signed a wide-ranging free trade agreement last year with India, which along with China is among the biggest trade partners for Gulf Arab oil and gas producers, most of whose currencies are pegged to the US dollar. So if you don't know, a lot of currencies around the world are actually pegged to the US dollar. They're backed by the US dollar. It's pretty fucking crazy. So essentially, yeah, that's why the US has so much dominance. And Al-Zayudi, asked by Reuters whether trade in rupees with India was on the table, replied, "Yes, we're in discussion with the Indians. The talks are related to non-oil commodities," he added. "They're in the early stages," he said in an interview with the Silence of the World Economic Forum in Davos. And this is really, really, really interesting because this is saying, take a look at here, the large majority of Gulf trade is conducted in US dollars, but countries such as India and China are increasingly seeking to pay in local currencies for various reasons. And this is kind of what's going on here. A lot of countries, they're not a big fan of the fact that the US petrodollar has so much dominance. And that's what really keeps, the US at a powerhouse, because the dollar is so strong. And there's countries now trying to step in and say, hey, we don't want to use the dollar anymore. But with that being said, the dollar is still king. But there is increasing pressure on the dollar to have it, dethroned. And I think there's a lot of stuff. I think that's going to be the story of, the next 2 decades. I think we're going to see a lot of pressure from countries like China, India, Russia, trying to dethrone the dollar. That's not being talked about in the news, but we're going to talk about it here because, we're about some real fucking shit here. And yeah, to our last story, hold up. I never went over the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin right now is sitting around 21K. We're just chopping. And the stock market was open today because today is Thursday. And the stock market has just been kind of chopping. We're down, just coming a little bit down. We had a huge rally. And Bitcoin's been chilling, but the stock market's now coming down again. And yeah, guys, that's all we got for today's video. Make sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment. Go follow me on Twitter. Follow me on all my socials. And yeah, thank you for watching.